Welcome to Bold Amplify, a place where we explore and learn from the stories and insights of people cultivating new connections to the internet around the world. My name is Yutunde Olagbaju. I'm part of a collective called Influx, and this year we had the pleasure of working with the Internet Society Foundation, ISF, and grantees from the Building Opportunities Leveraging Technologies grant program. We call it BOLT for short. The BOLT program supports technologists, engineers, and innovators building prototypes and pilot solutions for global internet connectivity and access. This year, the BOLT program focused on projects led by teams from Brazil and Kenya that strengthen the internet, ensuring its open, globally connected, and reliable access. We worked with these incredible leaders to collect and share stories, thoughts, and environmental sounds that articulate the impact of the BOLT grant on them, their work, and their respective communities. In these episodes, we'll get to know the BOLT grantees, their journey, insights, and visions for a connected future. Today, we're talking to the Kenya Education Network, or KENET. Their BOLT project aims to provide reliable internet access to over 20 institutions in rural Kenya, like libraries, hospitals, and schools. In this episode, we'll hear from John Masai and Achiki Cornelius, two of Kenya's leaders in internet connectivity, and learn how they're working to bridge the digital divide in Kenya.
Today, I'm thrilled to share our journey, experiences, and insights from the front lines of digital inclusion. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of connectivity and its transformative impact. I am John Masai, the project manager for the KENET BOLT Internet Access Gap project. I bring my technical expertise as a NOC engineer to ensure the smooth operation of our network infrastructure. Throughout the years, I've been directly involved in various school connectivity initiatives, working tirelessly to bridge the digital divide and empower educational institutions with reliable and affordable internet access.
Hi, my name is Achiki Cornelius, and I'm a network engineer at the Kenya Education Network, KENET. I have been part of the KENET team for the past 12 years, and I started doing this work because of my past experience as an undergraduate student. As a student, access to internet connectivity was a bit of a challenge, and we had to go through very difficult solutions so that we were able to access connectivity or even share resources within ourselves.
The first time I accessed the internet is when I was 17 years old. That was after high school. My then a close friend of mine, he was a boy. He took me to a cyber cafe and he helped me open up a Gmail account. Actually, it wasn't a Gmail account, it was a Yahoo account. And because the internet was so slow, we had to load the basic HTML version. Yeah, that's what I remember about my first encounter with the internet. Then I also I also opened a Facebook account. Most people use the internet, especially if for those who are in rural areas, they use mobile bundled data on the phone. When you look at the 3G coverage map of Kenya, it follows the urban areas, yeah? So that's where most of the population is. So you find rural schools are unconnected because it's very expensive for mobile operators to go to those regions. So those areas remain behind, while the schools in urban areas have connectivity, have opportunities. They are collaborating with students maybe in other regions. Yeah, so that's what the picture I wanted to paint.
The greatest thing that I think we can give to these students is them being able to experience the same user experience as someone who is in the urban area.
I spent the last 2 years of my primary schooling in a boarding school. We were woken up at 4 a.m. by the mathematics teacher every morning to go and do maths. 4 a.m. The boarding school I went to was just around 1 kilometer from my home. So if I stood by the fence, I would see my home, but I couldn't see my parents. So I felt so bad. It was so near yet so far. If only I had WhatsApp, that what the students have today, that I could just call my mom and see her and tell her what I was going through. Where I come from, schools belong to the community, and schools are taken very seriously by the community because in a place where people don't have much to pass on to their children, we say education is key to life. Here in Kenya, education is key to life. That is the inheritance you give your children. So communities take schools, especially public schools, very seriously. So schools act not only as educational physical spaces for education, but also when we are having elections, that is where the community comes together. When there is a fundraising, that is the center where the people come together to fundraise. Any activity is centered around the school, not just for educational purposes. So that's what I can say about community and schools in Kenya.
So I think I will talk about especially the primary school. There are two scenarios. There are those who go to school using buses, but that we deem that to be for the well-off families or communities. But majority of the school-going pupils, they walk to school, and sometimes it might be some few kilometers, probably 3 to 5 kilometers. And that is part of the reason why Kenyans are known as good runners, because of just that going to school. Students will find them running, going to school as a group. Rarely will you find a student or a pupil going to school while they are alone. So they work in groups as they go to school. And those who are in buses, sometimes you'll hear them say they want to walk to school, the other group are not being the buses. And the ones who are not going to school on a day-to-day basis, let's say they are boarding, because we have two kinds of setups. You have those who are doing day schooling, and then you have the boarding setup. You find the ones who are in boarding miss that experience of actually walking from home to school on a day-to-day basis and interacting with the students, looking at nature around. So it depends, but in the urban areas, mostly you find they use buses to go to school, albeit it's a bit pricey, and those who are not able to pay for the school transport, they use the public means. I would also like to include something about the hospitals, because the way communities are done within the Kenyan society is you find within a community, there's a primary school, there's a secondary school, and most of all, there is a hospital or a dispensary that serves the community around. So as part of what we had tried to look at is how are we going to enable a community as a whole, whether we are connecting a primary school, a secondary school, a library, or a hospital. There's one hospital that we actually talked to, and they were unable to process patient data because they didn't have connectivity. So all the insurances that they need to do, the universal health care that we do have, they were unable to process that because of lack of connectivity. whether it's through the mobile data or some form of broadband connectivity. So you see, a dispensary like that serves a very big community, but due to lack of connectivity, they are unable to actually deliver their mandate well to the users of the community. So I think the way our structure is, we have a community that centers around education and healthcare. Yeah. KENET was formed by 5 founding members in the year 1999 with a vision of building an academic network to leverage on the economies of scale in procuring internet services. The goal was to digitally transform learning and research in the country, which will in turn lead to a high research and innovation productivity level in the country. We support education and research institutions in Kenya by providing fast, reliable, cost-effective connectivity and research solutions to our members. All this is in addition to offering technical capacity building to our members' ICT personnel staff, and also we do mini grants to researchers in the KENET community.
At KENET, using the BOLT grant, we are trying to connect, we are going to connect 20 institutions that are within the neighborhood of KENET members. So we are going to be using overhead fiber or radio links to connect these institutions. And also we are going to do a basic LAN and some solar power solution within the beneficiary institutions. And these beneficial institutions, to be specific, are secondary schools, libraries, hospitals, and technical vocational colleges. One technical vocational college. One of the key achievements of the BOLT project is its contribution to bridging the digital divide. By providing internet connectivity to institutions in rural areas, we are narrowing the gap between the urban and rural areas in terms of access to the internet. This not only enhances educational opportunities, but also promotes overall development and equal access to resources for all. So our model relies on our community, not just our human community, but also on the network that we've built. So the first thing that we did is we reached out, when we received the grant, we reached out to our members and told them we have this funding and we would like to use this funding to extend the connections from your university, because our members are mostly universities, to the nearby school or hospital or library. So we built on the relationships that we already have with our members to now extend or to build this project. Then we put out a poll or an online questionnaire where our members were free to go on there and fill their proposals for who they think should benefit from this opportunity. For the power dynamics, for the most part, the project team, us at KENET, have had most of the power. If we didn't want to share that power, then we would have it, because we're the ones making decisions about distribution of resources, how we are distributing the funding, the equipment, the technical support, even decision making, anything to do with the project, it's up to us. But now for that, we decided to engage with the community or with the beneficiaries in an open and transparent way to make sure they are also heard, because they also have ideas on how they would like the project to go or what they would like the project to do for them. So we engage in open and transparent communication. We also facilitate community participation and engagement throughout the project. So we listen to their feedback and we seek their input. We also recognize their value the existing knowledge of the beneficiaries or the community, because they know their pain points. They have experience related to internet connectivity, and we consider their perspective in our project planning and implementation. We also foster collaborative relationships and build that mutual respect and trust so that we can have that shared decision making and aiming for a partnership kind of power distribution where the power is shared rather than concentrated on the KENET side or now on the Internet Society Foundation side. Yeah, so we foster that collaboration with our beneficiary community. Lastly, sustainability is at the core of our connectivity solutions. We recognize the importance of providing reliable, long-lasting connectivity to the beneficiary institutions. To achieve this, we carefully consider different options such as last-mile fiber and radio connectivity. By prioritizing sustainable solutions, we ensure that the benefits of internet access continue to thrive even after the project's completion. For the questions and concerns that I've noted is they ask questions about the technical aspect of the project, such as the installation of the internet infrastructure, the Wi-Fi coverage, where exactly are we placing these access points, and how reliable the internet connection will be. They also seek assurance that the internet will be stable and consistent, because these are not existing KENET members, they will become new members. Another big thing that I've noted is a concern is affordability. Affordability is a major concern for these institutions. They inquire about the cost of cost of the internet, especially after the free period, because we are giving 12 months free internet access. But after the free period, they'll be required to pay some fee to ensure the sustainability of the project. I also see a problem to do with digital literacy, where some of the people require some sort of training or skills on how to use the internet. They also seek information about any training programs or resources that can help them to navigate the online world and to better use the internet connection. The other concern that I've seen is that they express interest on how the internet access will benefit education now, specifically for the secondary schools. They want to know how they can use this internet to in education. So just to share a few reactions or questions that we've had in regard to the project. The reaction that I've seen is excitement and enthusiasm. So our beneficiary institutions have expressed excitement about the prospect of gaining access to the internet, recognizing the opportunities it can bring for the education, communication, and economic development. They also appreciate the project's effort to bridge the digital divide and empower underserved communities. While we have encountered some challenges during this project, we remain determined to overcome them. One such challenge has been the unforeseen delay in securing commitments for all 20 beneficiary institutions. Despite our initial expectations, we received signed commitments from 15 institutions, affecting the progress of our work plan. Collaboration and coordination with KENET member universities have also presented difficulties and delays. We rely on their support to assist with the follow-up process with beneficiary institutions, and these challenges have impacted our timelines and overall progress. Despite these challenges, we have achieved significant success in the project. The strong community engagement and participation from our universities and institutions have been remarkable. The commitment from our anchor universities, the signed commitment forms from beneficiary institutions, and the progress made in the implementation phase are noteworthy accomplishments. Let me share with you some of the aspects of the KENET Bolt project that fill me with pride. Firstly, I'm proud to highlight the commitment of the World Bank in supporting Kenya through the Kenya Digital Economy Acceleration Project, or KDIP. This project focuses on last mile connectivity for education and represents a significant investment of $90 million US. As part of KDIP, the World Bank recognizes the value of KENET Internet Access Gap project and intends to utilize it as a pilot program for the larger initiative. This recognition reaffirms the importance and potential impact of our project in connecting schools and expanding access to high-speed internet. These accomplishments fill me with pride and reinforce our commitment to bridging the digital divide and creating a more inclusive digital future. What is coming up, something that I wanted to mention was there have been a lot of projects here in Kenya to do with schools connectivity. For example, our regulator did a project in 2017 to connect around 895 schools. And right now the project is lying idle. It flopped, it's no longer working. We have Microsoft that did a project, UNICEF did a project. So we've had lots of stakeholders coming in and doing projects. Now, something that struck an idea in my head with this project is we've engaged a couple of beneficiary institutions that declined the offer to be part of the project. So as a country or as stakeholders are trying to connect all secondary schools or all primary schools in Kenya, the thing we are yet to ask ourselves is, do they really need this internet? What will they use this internet for? Because that we have not asked ourselves. We have not brought in the teachers or the schools and asked them if they require the internet.
Yeah, so I would like to relate this to what we see in the urban centers because of the penetration of the internet, whereby everyone nowadays has a smartphone or a smart device. And rather than communicating on a personal level, it's more electronic. We'll chat. Instead of us going out to play, we'll stay and play games on our mobile phones, online games. And you might find people on the same table chatting to different people who are miles and miles away. So that is an urban setting, and probably that might be a negative effect of what might happen in the rural areas, whereby instead of now the students hanging, playing around, playing football, playing soccer at a pitch around, they'll be more inclined to accessing online content. Let me play my online games. So there'll be that disconnect between users.
Those personal relationships, the bonds that are currently there between families and communities, when the internet penetration now will get to those rural areas, I would imagine that those bonds would somehow be weakened, because I can only draw from my personal life. Back at home in the rural area, we sit together for breakfast, have our meal, then begin our daily chores or daily activities. Then in the evening, we also have a sit down together and have dinner, and we talk about our day. If we had internet connectivity, everyone would probably be on their phone, catching up with the things that are going on online, or maybe go to your room so that you can have some space away from others and watch a movie or do something online. Yeah, so I think that is a downside to internet access in rural areas.
Once all schools, and this is primary and secondary schools, that will mean we'll have a good way of delivering learning content to our students. That means we shall have a workforce that is tech savvy. We are able to be more innovative at an early age. And it's something that as we are moving as a country to see how to digitally transform, doing the connectivity to all schools will accelerate our journey towards the digital transformation. But at the same time, the amount of job opportunities that might come from just having internet connectivity is going to be immense. Already we do have a snippet of how that might go because of the campus students who are able to do remote jobs, online jobs. So despite the government not having the traditional white-collar job skills, now the young people will be able to think outside the box because they do have access to internet and see what else can they do with the internet that can actually give them some employment or some innovative ideas that they might be able to share with the world and also with the country at large. So I think once we have connected all the schools, I think we'll be better than Japan or South Korea in the terms of how technology is, because I believe Kenyans, we do have a very vibrant and creative young population. And once they're exposed to the internet and to what is out there, they'll be able to do, great things. Great things. We will not be the Silicon Valley, will be something else. Better than the Silicon Valley, better than Japan and Korea.
Once all Kenyan schools are connected, I imagine that the playing field will be leveled out across the world because Kenyan students will have access to learning material that other students in the world that are excelling in certain fields have access to. So that will raise the grade of engineers or people that we're educating in Kenya. So that would mean that Kenyan students will be able to work anywhere in the world, speak good English, because I can see even my daughter's English is way better than mine, and she's just 4 years old. That's because of the internet. So the internet will level that playing field, and opportunities that are available outside will be available to those students that are in the rural Kenya, and they'll be able to compete globally. Well, my daughter is 3.5. She doesn't yet have her own phone, but she uses mine when I get home. I have downloaded YouTube Kids and Khan Academy Kids. She likes those two apps, and she uses it when I'm with her. But what amazes me was by the time she was, I think, 1.5, she already knew how to scroll on the phone. Yeah, how to select the app she wanted. She knew what YouTube Kids was, and she would go straight and tap it. Yeah, yeah.
Our time with John Masai and Achiki Cornelius throughout this year has been so rewarding. Hearing their reflections on connecting rural Kenya has given us so much insight into the world of internet connectivity. If you want to get more information on KENET or support their important work, please visit their website, kenet.or.ke. That's KENET.or.ke for more information. Along with my collaborators, Meghna Mahadevan and Neha Shingane, we'd like to thank the Internet Society Foundation for the opportunity to meet and collaborate with Achiki and Joan. We'd also like to thank the rest of the KENET team, Kennedy Aceda, Lavender Nafuela, and Nalissa Gacheri, for their time and energy. We'd also like to thank our sound engineer, Leah Ann Lefember Mitchell, for her incredible work. We couldn't have done it without you. And lastly, thank you to you, dear listener, for your attention. We hope you've enjoyed this nuanced look into the world of internet connectivity within rural Kenya. Be sure to check out our other episode to hear from Instituto Nupef, who is connecting indigenous forest defenders in the Brazilian Amazon to the internet.